Yeah, I went to a Holiday Inn for 3 nights. I'm in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. So it's a pretty decent hotel. And I just had my first restaurant meal, probably in 4 months. Last time I was at a restaurant was, I still remember, it was a TA, either TA or Petro. Remember that big trip I did from Las Vegas to Alberta with the pile driver machine, and when I went empty, that's where all this pandemic started getting really serious. And I remember as I was driving more further and further south towards Las Vegas, and I went empty, right? 2,400 miles. At first the restaurants were open, but there was no buffet, but you can still sit down. And I remember I was like sanitizing everything, and but it was still open, right? And then by the time I reached Las Vegas, everything got closed. Takeout only, delivery only, right? And so I'm sitting at this hotel here, and so that's in the distance. Well, not where these cars are, but on top of them there's a road. Let's see if we see any vehicles. Well, it's it's Saturday, but that's Trans-Canada 1 on top of the grass. Yeah, I think where that car was going, like yeah, I see that other car over there. That's Trans-Canada 1. And so that way is west, this way is east. So, well, yeah, I see like the truck over there. And so if you go this way, that's towards Regina. And that way is towards Alberta. Right, and that's where I was supposed to go. And yesterday they gave me the bad news saying that this machine has to go back to the original place, and of course I'm already past that point because I should have turned south at Regina, went south to that place, but now I'm like 2 hours west of Regina, and I calculated the miles, and I sent them an email. I said, guys, first of all, they can only unload me Tuesday, so first off, I shut down the truck on Wednesday, June 10th, and now they're saying they can only unload me Tuesday, which is 16th, which is actually the day when I was supposed to get my Alberta permit, because on June 16th they switched from spring to post thaw, and I would be able to get my permit because I'm a bit heavy on the Jeep. And so yeah, so from Wednesday till Tuesday, when they can unload me, it's 6 days, right? And the reason I'm sitting is because they told me to go to BC, right? And I have to wait for the Alberta to change the weight rules, and I could still deliver. I if they told me this before, I could have delivered Wednesday, right? So definitely I have to charge them. I cannot just go back, because they paid me for that trip from Halifax to, let's say, Regina, like near Regina, where it's supposed to unload. But then after that, I'm sitting idle for 6 days, and now I have to go back. And when I actually compared my route on Google Maps, let's say Halifax to the delivery point near Regina, it was 2,600 miles. But now if I do a route from Halifax to my current point and return to the original delivery site, it's 287 miles. So it's 270 miles with a 100,000-pound load, right? And I already ordered. It's a good thing that I didn't order my BC permit, because they said it was too early, right? I said I need it for next Thursday, and I couldn't order my Alberta permit. But now the only permit, the only active permit I have now is the Saskatchewan permit. But I got that one just for Trans-Canada 1, going straight through from Manitoba line to Alberta line, right? So now I have to go back towards Regina and take a highway south. So I hope they're not gonna charge me extra, because if they do, I will pass this cost to the freight broker, because they keep changing their mind. It doesn't sound like the customer has like a set plans. It's always evolving. So I just hope they're not gonna send me back to Halifax, because I'm getting tired of, like I always say, that whenever you have something on your deck for a week or two, you get kind of like tired of it, and you get that feeling you want to get rid of it. And that's what I feel now. I just want to get rid of it and go to a truck stop and start looking for a different load. And of course I'm in Saskatchewan, so I might need to go into US, grab a load from US to Canada, or maybe find a load in Canada. But we'll know next week. So Monday I should get the rate confirmation. I told them, send me the new rate confirmation. I'm not just going to deliver, for free. After spending 6 days waiting for the Alberta rules to change so I can go to BC, and now you tell me, no, you're not going to BC, you're going back to the original plan A. So nobody works for free, that's for sure. And I already called the pilot car service in BC, but I didn't give them my credit card. Nobody called me back. I said I need one pilot for Thursday in British Columbia, so of course I'll have to call them and tell them that the load got canceled pretty much. Okay, and as for the restaurant, so it was interesting for me to see what are the restaurants doing now. And so when I was looking on Google Maps, trying to find a place like where to go grab a burger or something, but I would throw out the buns. I just want to have some meat. And there's my favorite A&M, I think they're called, right? A&M burger, but they're on the other side of the freeway. I cannot get there unless I get a taxi or something, because I left my truck at the truck stop, and I don't want to do that. And then I see that there's a Walmart this way, not like 5 minutes away, and there's like a big shopping plaza, and there's Boston Pizza, which is a chain in Canada. I don't think they exist in the States, but it's a pizza place. But they also have steak and stuff like that, like meatballs, and I call them. I see on the Google Maps it says dining, and there's a check mark next to dining, and I find that they're pretty accurate. They update the status, like other places it says takeout check, delivery check, dining cross, like no dining. But these guys, dining says check, so I call them on the phone, which of course again I can see on the, geez, this camera is heavy, it's been a while since I used this big Canon, and it's just so heavy with the lens. And actually I had to look up the manual to remember how to start a movie recording. It's so much easier with a cell phone or GoPro, which by the way I'm charging, so when I'll be unloading Tuesday, I'll make sure all the GoPros are rolling. And so I called Boston Pizza. They said, yeah. For some reason the girl sounded pretty sad on the phone. She says, yeah, we open. Okay, so I put my mask on when I was coming close, and I walk in. There's like I think 5 or 6 tables only inside, and they all spaced very far apart. And then later I heard the guy say that they don't allow more than 6 people at one table, because there's a group of young guys came in, and there were like 5 of them, and they said you cannot have more than 6. So that's one thing. So they limit how many people can sit, and they limit how many tables are in there, but it feels kind of like you're in a barn somewhere. It doesn't feel like a real restaurant because you have so much space between tables, right? And they have nowhere to put the rest of the tables, so like the corners of the dining room are covered with tables and chairs on top of them, like with the legs pointing up, like when they cleaning so it's like you're sitting somewhere like in a warehouse. That was the feeling. All the TVs were off. There's no silverware on the tables. There's no salt, no pepper, nothing. And I said, okay, I'll have the steak with veggies. The guy brings me the plate with the 1 knife. And I said, can I have a fork? And he said, oh, sorry. So he brings me the, like set with fork and knife in a napkin. And I get some water. Oh, and all the waiters are wearing masks, but no gloves. And then I say, hey, can I have some salt and pepper? And because there's nothing on the table, right? You don't have those shakers. And what's funny, he brings me like a little black, those micro dish, like when they give you like a sauce, when you're asking for like hot sauce, and they give you this little mini plate with a cover, with a lid, kind of like this size, right? And so he brings me 2 of those tiny micro dishes with a plastic lid. And I'm like, what is this? And I look inside. One of them has pepper. One of them has salt. So I guess they're disposable. So that's what we're doing. So no pepper, no salt on the table. They bring the silverware, and but the meat was pretty good. I had some 8-ounce Canadian AAA steak. Didn't order anything else, just steak with veggies. So it was pretty good. The only thing I don't like is that I ask him, can you grill some veggies? And the guy says, yeah. I said, grill or saute, right? And he says, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they can do that. And then he brings me the veggies, and I still see that they have water in them, which I prefer the taste of veggies which are just grilled. They taste so much better. And I asked him, I said, so you ended up still steaming them, right? And he says, no, they grilled them a little bit in oil, but he says they come pre-packaged, already steamed. He says they're pre-steamed. And that's why they don't taste very well, those veggies, because they're not fresh, right? So I guess they pre-steam them somehow, and they keep them somewhere, and then they grill them if you want, but just too much water. Too much water in veggies doesn't taste good. So anyway, that was my experience. So yeah, I did my books. See, like I did this little envelope with all my expenses, stuff like that. I only had one trip. I only had one trip in May. Made X amount of dollars, but my expenses were probably 2 or 3 times more than what I made. Like permits, licensing, truck repair, fuel, tolls. But I will get some money back from the government for the sales tax, the HST. So that's the good news. And I'm staying here until Monday. And then Monday I'll get a taxi cab and get back to my truck. And over there's some kind of a farm. Let's check this out. There's a farm. I see some horses over there. And in the back there's another shopping center over there where that Motel 6 is. So it's not a bad area to spend a few days off. At least it's not winter, because winter over here can be very, very cold because of all these open spaces. And the hotel is nice. The most important thing, I got plenty of plug-ins. I charge all my GoPros, charge my little Bell Mobility modem I use when I'm in the truck, for internet when I'm in Canada, and for US I'm using Verizon, and I got a huge LG TV, very nice. And I tested this works very good. So with this, so I made myself some harmonized vegan protein shake. With this, made a little bit of a mess, but I like this design. You know, it's so much quicker. Whereas the previous one I had just a ball out of, like a spring ball inside. The one I told you guys was making lots of noise as I was driving. So I like this. This was a pretty good purchase. Thank you, Farmer Save.